Hello, everyone. This is a kind of video in which I want to explain. I want you to watch before you're taking chapter 4. You're doing chapter 4 weekly activity and creating your post and posting it. And I wanted to explain a few things, two things actually. One is very technical thing, and we want to try some of the new formats a little bit so that will benefit you. Hopefully, you're learning. And another thing is about one of the topic. So first, the technological thing. So far, you have done a really good job. A lot of you guys engaged with this discussion weekly activity. We're very happy. Me and our TAs are very, very happy and impressed by the quality of the post. Now, each of your group, right? There's 27 groups actually in this course, should have received my attention in addition to TAs as well, at least twice throughout Chapter 1, 5, 2, 3. Okay, so now you know what kind of comments I provide. And we notice, my TAs as well as me, that although many of your comments are really good, but also we realize ourselves are responding the same comments a lot because there's a lot of commonality among you guys. Now, that's a bit of a waste of our time on our end, because if we are saying the same thing over and over, right? It takes a lot of time, actually, surprise, right? Now, it's not that I want to save time, I want to save time, right? It's for my leisure. But I want to save my time for doing that repetitive work so that I can dig into some of your conversation more deeper. And that's what my TAs and I agreed on. So can we try one thing? From Chapter 4 weekly activity, the first person in your group you post like in any other, just like previously, right? You just post it, questions together, boom. Now the second person in your group, right? Hopefully you go into the discussion link and you see already somebody posted it, right? If you see that, please put your comments as a reply to that person so that every person, in your group, everyone's, response is kind of in one thread, right? In so doing, of course, I encourage you to take a look at the previous person's post. And you have two options. One is like, even your second person, third person, you can put your own thoughts, right? But you may realize that your point is, for example, a bit similar to the other person. Great. So then you don't have to make the same point again, but you say that, oh, I also thought like, I don't know, Sarah thought, and in this way, but I had the different example, and this is my example, sort of thing. And that's great. Now, I don't want you to do is just say, for example, respond to the previous person and say, oh, I agree. Well, probably we won't be able to provide a good feedback, and I don't think that's going to be a good learning for you. However, that way you can learn from each other, which we know based on research multiplies your speed and quality of your learning, okay? And also, we can comment on the entire discussion, right? You guys making maybe different points or similar points, so I can address it at the same time. I can use different points to even deepen the discussion so that when you actually see my comments, right, and you can go back to the entire thread and you can see, oh, okay, there's a different views and how that works, and oh, I didn't think that this concept meant this, but now I can see my teammates example that clarifies, hopefully in relation being along with our comments, me and my TA's feedback as well. Does that sound like a good idea? I think that way we can maximize the time. We can even dig deeper into the topic, and we'll see how it goes. It may or may not work. That's fine. Can we try just 2 weeks, this one? So chapter 4, chapter 5 at least. Please, first person, you post like any other week, but second person in your group, please post your responses as a reply to the previous person. So there's going to be one thread, okay? Now, the second one. If you look at our chapter 4's discussion activity, you will see one of the topic is from lecture. And that basically addresses the issue of racial ethnic discrimination that also happens in a leisure context. And I'm asking you to watch the video, YouTube video. The link is in our lecture notes, and do a quick research about similar incidents. And hopefully where you are, where you live, maybe you're in Canada, certain part of Canada. Take a look of, maybe local news, maybe. Or you're in China, you're in Japan, you're in India, you're in, Europe. What's the situation over there? I want you to do the research to get the fact. Now, why is that? Maybe you ask, Shin, I came here in this course to learn about leisure and happiness, and why are we learning this such a heartbreaking and emotionally, taxing, really, topic? And it is. But I think with this year, with everything happened earlier this year and the ongoing Black Lives Matter movement and also many other issues in Canada and beyond, I think we have to talk about this topic. And our field, leisure studies, as well as well-being study, other field, we have discussed critically the issue of racial injustice and many other type of discrimination and inequalities. Now, the tricky part for leisure studies, especially, and also happiness, but leisure specifically, is that a lot of people approach leisure as almost innocent, that it's some happy place where all that discrimination and inequality disappears. Sometimes it does. We can empower people. We can create a safe space. It does too. But the fact that reality is there's a lot of discrimination happening in leisure, recreation, sports, tourism, play context. Earlier this summer and this year, for example, I recently wrote a paper in which I talk about this issue. And I wanted to just read off some of the quotes. You may remember seeing a video of someone called Amy Cooper calling the police when she was asked to put her dog on a leash by Christian Cooper, an African-American man who was bird watching in Central Park in New York City. Or you may have watched a video of a professor from Sacramento State University and his wife holding a can of beer, right, and having a good time probably, but uttering racial slurs to their neighbors due to the smell of a bacon. They're having barbecue probably. Another video that went viral captured a social media company CEO called Michael Lofthouse to engage in anti-Asian tirade at our expensive restaurant, fancy restaurant, very luxury. All of that happened in a leisure context, a park, when somebody's walking a dog, bird watching, in a backyard where people were having family barbecue maybe, and drinking beer, in a restaurant where people were celebrating some really good, anniversary and meals and all that. Leisure does have the ugly side as well. And it's very important for us to critically learn that and challenge this assumption, the illusion that we have leisure is a happy place, innocent place. It is not. So I ask you to first engage with this topic. I think it's very important. It's beyond grade. It's just important. Secondly, when you post, I want you to be really, really respectful, okay? This topic can be very personal to some of us, and we need to respect it. And you have done a tremendous job. You have done really good job so far. Your discussion was very respectful. You're really caring to each other and you're respecting to each other. Very great. So I just asking that you keep that mentality, you keep that professionalism, you keep that ethic and decency for this week, especially. I think we need that especially too. Okay, and that's my message for Chapter 4 weekly activities, and I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be a good learning. All right.